Okay, the box office and the reviews are in for The Little Mermaid, and they're both bad. Remember my song in the swamp when I was like, wham, chicka, wham, wham, chicka, wham. Bonjour. As always, before I start, I will just thank everyone for liking, commenting, and the mental ones that are subscribing. Please continue to do so. It really is helping. I can see behind the scenes what's going on with my channel, and it is thanks to you all. It is growing nicely, and it's despite the YouTube algorithm that does not help us small creators out. So I thank you, and please continue. Let's get right into it. Now, I'm calling you mental if you're subscribing, but you must be thinking that I've gone mental because of these videos on The Little Mermaid. And I know there are other YouTubers out there kind of reporting daily on The Little Mermaid and what's going on, but please bear with me, because what I am finding fascinating with this and the questions it brings up, and what needs discussion, this and Indiana Jones, The Dial of Destiny, is the fate of Disney and where it is going, and why they keep banging. They are the cinematic equivalent. It's the cinematic equivalent of banging a big rusty iron pan over your head continually and wondering why you've got a headache. Forgive me laughing at my own jokes, but it absolutely, the sheer blindness of what they're doing, like from a corporation. So China, apparently, the news is in, are saying, you carry on doing this, and we won't have your films at all. The Little Mermaid had the one of the lowest openings that Disney have ever had. It was fourth, I think, fourth or fifth. And you can have a look. You don't need me to show you pictures and all the rest of it. I've done my little bit of research and etc. etc. But it came in at something like 3 million, or a couple of $1 million, yen, whatever it is. And that doesn't even make sense, does it? When a film costs $250 million like The Little Mermaid, and you've got a country with over 1 billion people in it, and you get, little 2.5, cheeky little 3 million off them. How does that work out? When you're ploughing 250 million, you're thinking, right, this territory, that territory, that territory, nice. So, getting back to territories and box office, it isn't doing too bad in the US. Considering it was a 4-day, I think it's a 4-day weekend, Memorial Day, and I think it opened on the Thursday as well, I believe. I could be wrong in all this, but I know that there are certain shield sites, all the usual suspects are coming up saying, oh my God, it's doing so well. It's a 4 or 5 day opening it's just had. And I know other films have done that. But they use this information to declare what a marvellous, wonderful film this is. And it clearly isn't. And I'm not a big fan of Rotten Tomatoes, but there was something weird. So when I'm looking around for the bit of news and, just for Little Mermaid, like I say, I'm interested more in the shenanigans, the corporate shenanigans that go on to try and make us believe these films are good and this is what we want to see, which is one of the inherent problems in all this crap. They are telling us what we should enjoy. This is what's going wrong with. I'll come back to that. It's domestically in America. It's doing quite well. It's still only half of what either Beauty and the Beast or Aladdin, one of their big blockbusters. And this film, in all reality, unless it's on its way to $1 billion in total after about a month or 6 weeks, this film hasn't really earned a lot of dough. You know, you've ploughed all this time and effort and marketing and all your resources, everything into it. If you're only going to earn, you know, to normal people, let's say 50 million. 50 million, oh my God, you can live the rest of your life on that kind of money. A corporation that's just spent 250 making a film and then 250 marketing a film and sending people around the world and all the rest of it to market, to promote it and all blah, blah, blah. If you've only, say, just for argument's sake, 50 million, that is nothing. Because you need, if you're going to carry on, which they are carrying on, this is what I just don't understand, you're going to need to add another 200 to that out of your savings, aren't you? If you've only earned 200, if you've only earned 50 million from your last film, and you want to make another live action remake, if you want to really go for it with Snow White, yeah, you need another 200 million, but that's got to come out of your bank account now, hasn't it? It's got to come out of your savings. You've got to break open the old piggy bank. So it doesn't work. Just a quick spoiler alert, because if you're watching this and you haven't seen the original and you're all up for watching just bear with me for 2 minutes, fast forward or whatever you want to do, come back to me later, or even you've probably already disliked me because you think I'm really, really, really going for it with The Little Mermaid. But I'm kind of not, because I haven't seen the film and I will not be going to see the film. But I'm finding it interesting what's going on around it and how audiences are not flocking to see these films. They are not. And I've got experience of taking my family to these type of films, probably between 15 and 20 years ago, based on my children's age now. They're obviously grown up. And it was it was kind of like the Pixar era. It was a Toy Story era and around that time. But anyway, that's unimportant. But you've got a new modern Ariel that saves the day at the end of the film. And Eric does, in the original, Eric kills Ursula and saves it. And old Triton, Ariel's dad, goes, oh my God, he's done her in. And, it's all good. Now, how does that work when Ariel has to save the day? It's her story for the entire film. She has to have everything. She can't be not given her legs, victory, the love of her life, get married, reconciled with her dad. She has to have everything. Go over to Indiana Jones, which is another one I've been harping on about, from the same company, and these agendas only come from the top. They don't come from the top, but they are allowed to continue. They don't just bubble around and no one knows. So the rumours are out, the cringe, and it is cringe that Fleabag in Indiana Jones has to save the day. She has to punch Indiana Jones, knock him spark out to save the day. So we've got two films here. And I'm kind of, it's not in and of itself a bad thing. But, if these were in isolation, these story events, these storytelling events of characters in the endings of these films wouldn't be so bad if they was just every now and again. Or it was the Little Mermaid stories was about her always saving the day. But it clearly wasn't. They've changed it because they cannot have a male help her. They can't do it together and fall in love. They can't do it. They will not have it. But what the audience will not have, and this is where it's all going wrong, like I said earlier on, and this is what I'm going to get back to, is people do not like being told what to like and how to behave and how to relate to situations. What Disney are doing as a corporation now is these agenda politics that are they're kind of creeping into everything they do. This kind of, and it isn't feminism. It isn't equality. It's a rancid. It's a rancid extremist version of all the things that we do want to live in a society based upon. We don't want racism. We do want equality. Well, anyone sensible anyway. I do. I do. Now, I know a few people do come at me every now and again and say, "Oh, you're this phobe, you're that misogynist, you're blah blah blah." You know, if you did know me personally, you know I'm talking about these perceived culture wars within cinema, in the stuff I love, even in comics, and on TV and in films, the stuff I've grown up and love. And these people, and it is Disney, that are the main culprits. They're not the only culprits, but they're the main ones. But why they can continue to bang their head with the metal pan again and again, because it ain't earning them any money. This is the thing that grates me the most, that they just don't stop. And like the last video I did about the creative bankruptcy, that is at the heart of it. That's got to be at the heart of it. You know, when you get the sensitivity police to go over your scripts and your songwriting and let's get some new songs that appeal to the new. When you are directing your creativity at that perceived audience, and you are trying to please everyone all at once, I'm telling you, anyone who's listening, telling you you're destined to fail. And that's where they are now. Dismal are there now. They are preaching. And the audience and the box office proves, particularly with these, well, with everything Disney does. Dismal minus streaming platform has lost 4 million subscribers. Their films, apart from this year, all their films, I think apart from Guardians of the Galaxy 3, has either just about broke even and earned a couple of quid, like I explained earlier. They are not earning profit to bolster your company. These billions, you could earn $1 billion, but if all your costs added up come to 950, it ain't no good, is it? But $1 billion sounds lovely. It's an earth-shattering amount of money, or it used to be. It's not anymore because we bandy these numbers around. Like Indiana Jones, over 300 million. How The Little Mermaid has cost 250 million. I don't know, because I have seen clips of the CGI and I have heard reports of the production design, and it looks terrible. Absolutely terrible. The one thing Disney can't get right at the moment is their CGI. And you are going up against Avatar 2. I'm sorry. Our eyes are now looking at bad CGI because we have seen glorious years and years and years and years in the making CGI. Aquaman 2, again, will be going up against it. I'm sorry, but it's just a fact. Just a fact. On the subject of Aquaman 2 and the underwater scenes that I've seen from the trailer, one thing I will say about that, it is big, bold, bright and beautiful for an Aquaman film, a superhero film with Jason Momoa. But then you look at, just watch the trailers. You watch the trailers and then there's this kind of mud-coloured, dingy colour palette that they've put on a live-action remake of a cartoon. That doesn't make sense. Like I said, creatively bankrupt. Look what's ahead. So look, this is what they've done with The Little Mermaid. That's what they've done with Indiana Jones. Fleabag's got to knock him out at the end. Look that's their first two. We've had Quantum Mania this year. Yep, Guardians has earned money. I don't know how much, to be fair, because everyone's been a bit quiet about that. But I'm prepared to sit here and now and say that hasn't earned a shit ton of money. That's earned a few bob, but that ain't earned a lot of dough. Then we've got Pixar next. Pixar, do you remember them? And I won't reel off what they used to do, because we all know, don't we? Deep in our heart, we all know how cinema used to be. We know how these animation studios, again, they used to be big, bold, imaginative, bright, beautiful, creative, everything positive. They weren't Well, I was just going to say they weren't the best films ever in the whole wide world, but I've watched a lot of Pixar films more than twice. That's all I'll say. And that's with the family or separate. So, and then we've had a Disney film. We've got the Disney film at the moment, Little Mermaid. Here it goes, straight down the pan. Indiana Jones 5, Lucasfilm. Here it comes, straight down the pan. The next one up is Pixar that they bought. Here, Elementals. Here we go, straight down the pan. The Marvels. Straight down the pan with everything else they've done. And at the moment, it just doesn't look like they want to change their ways one iota. It just looks like to me they want to shrink their company, they want to shrink the corporation in order to make the meagre amounts of money they earn look sustainable and sell off. They've got to sell off something. Got to sell off something because what they're creating isn't bankrolling anything new. So they can't stop. They can't stop. If Disney is a corporation, they can't just stop today. They've got to keep making stuff. And that's not even talking about merchandise, which doesn't sell anymore. No one, if reports are to be believed, the Little Mermaid merchandise from this latest film are already being marked down. No, none of this is selling. No one's going to want this. Who wants a picture of a muddy, murky Little Mermaid with the flounder with his eyes bulging out like a mental fish, that there's something in the water? and the live action Sebastian. Really? Oh, the Aquafina bird. And the awful song. But anyway, I'm kind of getting into slating the film, and I did want to I have kind of done that. But hopefully I've just thrown some questions out there and made people think about where this is all going and why it shouldn't be. Why are they losing money? Because essentially, people, they are voting with their feet. And generally, people don't like to be told what to enjoy. They know what makes them happy. And Disney shoving their opinions down people's throats ain't working. So continue with that iron pan on your head, Disney. Continue banging away. And on that note, I'll bid you all adios. Remember my song in the swamp?